Good morning and welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you joining us this morning for the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. As mentioned, if you missed this, you can't watch it live. We do appreciate if you check it out, www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. We upload audio and video versions there. If you're watching us live on Facebook, appreciate that and good morning. Let's roll through your traffic today. Delays at Millerville and Range, so please be aware of that. It's causing backups in both locations as folks are trying to get on the interstate in the morning. Backups are already up to Jubin Road. There's a small gap in between those two delays, one of those fake outs where you're going to start driving and feel really great and then the traffic's going to stop. That is, of course, pushing people onto the surface streets, as it always does every morning. Traffic is starting to stack up at 4H Club Road, River Road, and 190. There is minor delays on 64 as folks are still dropping their kids off at school. Delays starting to stack up at 190 and Jubin Road, as well as getting something new every day. Cockram and Highway 16 having a lot of delays. And, of course, there are heavy delays around Denham Springs High School, Denham Springs Junior High, as well as Live Oak High School in Watson, and as well as Walker High School, of course, in Walker. So please keep your eye out for those delays this morning. It's currently 45 degrees, 70 degrees is your high, 55 your low. We're going to be looking at that for a couple of days, about a 4 or 5 day stretch. I forget, it's Thursday, so it's going to be more like a 3 or 4 day stretch. And then there's going to be some heavy thunderstorms on Monday, bringing in another cold front. This time it's going to get pretty cold. We're going to be looking at 50-30 splits, so 50-degree highs, somewhere in the 30s for your lows. So please be prepared for that coming up next week. Tonight, the Parish Council will meet. Ordinance Committee kicks it all off at 5:15, and then it will roll through to a Finance Committee meeting, and then the Parish Regular Council at 6:30. The Ordinance Committee will be looking at subdividing land, and if it's subdivided for a specific purpose, then they cannot be re-subdivided after that. There's also the whole grinder pump issue, and there is speed bumps, which have been delayed. Right now, they will probably not get in all three. It'll be interesting to see what they do get in, but Chairman of the committee, Gary Frog Talbert, wants to lead with re-subdividing land and then try to get into grinder pumps and speed humps as he can. Now, grinder pumps are interesting, so let's move to the regular council, which is tonight at 6:30 at the Parish Council Chambers. That has been a saga for about 6 months, and the latest piece of that was that the wrong ordinance with the wrong language was introduced. Not entirely sure what's going to happen tonight with it. The fact that Bubba Harris, who was the original proponent of this, pushed it to be discussed in Ordinance Committee, leads me to believe that it'll probably be deferred again. It was deferred because of the language at the last Parish Council meeting in November. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Not entirely sure what's going to happen with all of that. So, as mentioned, keep your eyes and ears open with the grinder pump issue. What that is, just in case you haven't been following the show, it came up. It's happened a lot in the parish, but the specific issue came up, and why Bubba Harris came to the council with it was a specific neighborhood or subdivision just south of Denham Springs called Serene Acres. Was having trouble with their grinder pumps. The pumps did not have enough electric current to them. The inflow and outflow pipes were not large enough. The actual canister was not large enough. It didn't have enough horsepower. Just a lot of problems with them. So they continued to go out. Well, the homeowners that bought the home had no idea that they had a grinder pump. Let's take a quick time out and say that if you don't know what a grinder pump is, it's a sewer implement. Take it from there. It's part of a sewer system. The reason that some houses would have grinder pumps is that there's no access to a gravity line, or the developer did not want to pay the tie-in fee to a regular gravity line, so they use a grinder pump to send the sewer out to a single point, which is usually a force main. And what a force main is it takes that and fires it off to the sewer line, so you only have one connection point as opposed to multiple. I guess you can say it's a financially savvy way to avoid that. Going back to this situation, most of the homes had grinder pumps, if not all, and a lot of them have spent $5, $10, $15, upwards of $20,000 fixing their grinder pumps over the years. And, there was no disclosure that there was a grinder pump. A lot of those residents and the parish councilman, Mr. Bubba Harris, believed that they were improperly inspected. Just a lot of problems going on here. So it's been an ongoing saga. The reason that it keeps getting deferred is because the language of the ordinance came into question, and the original ordinance that was passed was vetoed by Parish President Leighton Ricks in fear of putting real estate agents on the hook for disclosing that a grinder pump was at the home. That didn't sit well with him, and so they are trying to go back to the drawing board and make it so builders and developers have to. Again, it was include language in the ordinance that was introduced still has some sort of real estate professional or homeowner on there, and that, it's if a homeowner, most of these homeowners had no idea they had a grinder pump till it went out. So it would be hard if they, say, only lived there for 6 months and the grinder pump never went out to disclose that if they never knew it was there. So it's gotten into kind of a tricky situation, some murky area. So it is on the agenda for a public hearing tonight. However, it will be interesting to see if they discuss it, defer it again, or if they want to run with the current language that's in there. Time will tell. We'll find out tonight. There is also the syringe exchange program, which is on the agenda tonight. Kind of some mixed reviews from the parish members of the parish council, as well as the residents at large here in Livingston Parish. DHH has approached the parish with this. All it does. So first, let's focus on the ordinance. The ordinance itself establishes a area in the, I guess you can say, the Code of Ordinances that says that if someone comes in to exchange a needle, it's kind of like a sanctuary program. They're allowed to come in to this private business and exchange a needle for a clean one. And in return, they kind of have to listen to this is why you shouldn't do drugs. This is why you should do this, that, and the other. And then they are allowed to leave without being followed by law enforcement, that sort of thing. So it does not establish a subsection of government. It's not a government entity. There actually would have to go out and find a private company that would want to do it. There are federal grants that or go towards funding these programs. The reason DHH approached the parish is because Livingston Parish has one of the most rapid expansion of cases of HIV and hepatitis in the state. Now, you start thinking about, well, it couldn't happen to me. It's not a problem. It's only, an extra 15, 20 cases a year. And that's not a lot when we have over 150,000 people here. But when that's still enough. It's 2019 and you're talking about hepatitis and HIV. So you want to try to curb that. Now, whether or not the syringe exchange program is the answer, not sure. They're going to be discussing that tonight. I know that Mr. Gary Frog Talbert said that, if there's going to be some discussion tonight, if he's not convinced that everybody's on board, he's going to propose deferring it, not forever, but waiting to see if maybe some other parishes pick up the program before Livingston Parish does. So it will be interesting to see what that discussion leads to tonight. However, worth mentioning a few things, that there is no cost to the parish. The parish also, through the ordinance, assumes no liability. It will be run privately. It's federally funded, and they can use a government building for it, but they'll lease that out. So that'll be coming up tonight as well. Finally, there are a few little things in there, but the other biggest thing will be the adoption of the budget. If they adopt the budget, it'll be interesting to see. I know I say it's interesting to see because it is. Who knows what they're going to do with the budget? I know that there will be some discussion again about the road program. That discussion started at the last parish council meeting before Thanksgiving, which seems like a lifetime ago, wherein several parish council members were asking Jennifer Myers, who is the finance director, why there was no money for the road program. And her answer was that the 2019 program has to be, and that road list has to be completed before they can roll out the 2020 program. So, there were a couple of them that asked some questions, especially about, well, can we use a different contractor, that sort of thing. It'll be interesting to see what kind of things they propose tonight to try to get that 2020 road program on the books. Please remember that the vote to renew the road program sales tax was moved, or they agreed to move it from the spring to the fall. So that citizens of Livingston Parish will be voting on that next fall. So please, keep an eye on that tonight. There will be some discussion surrounding that road program and how they're dealing with it in the budget. That'll be coming up at the parish council. All parish volleyball teams were released. It's something new that we're doing. It used to be, we did football, basketball, and baseball, softball. Adding in some volleyball, thinking about doing some soccer this year as well. Walker coach Kaylee Guidry was coach of the year. They had 5 years of winless play, and she led them to 17 wins. So congratulations, Miss Guidry, on that honor. Tabby Lobel of Springfield was the MVP overall for the parish out of Springfield, led her team to a playoff berth this year. So please, give those ladies a round of applause as you're sitting there in traffic. Excuse me, that was cheeky. But congratulations to them. And if you're looking for the full first and second team that were selected, again, our all parish teams are selected by the coaches. We have a ballot program that we walk them through, and then they vote on it, and that's for all sports. We don't pick them for reasons. So, if you're looking for the first and second teams that were selected, please go to www.livingstonparishnews.com/sports. They are there. They will also be in today's newspaper, 12/5. Please also remember that we are in full swing with basketball and soccer. You can check those out as well at www.livingstonparishnews.com/sports. Tons of soccer, tons of basketball going on. They're rolling into it. We also have stories up about the parish tournament selection, which begins next Tuesday at Holden High School. Keep an eye on that. Doyle held their homecoming parade yesterday. You can check out they have no football team, as several schools in the parish do not have a football team. So they have their homecoming during the basketball season. They hold a homecoming parade every year. Tons of fun. David Gray went out there, got you some photos. There's a photo gallery up. www.livingstonparishnews.com/living. Those schools that do not have a football program that do a later homecoming are Holden, Maurepas, Doyle, and French Settlement. There was a color run at Grays Creek Elementary that happened just a few days ago, in honor of Gabriel Jason McHugh. He was a special needs student there. They called him a special boy. He meant a lot to the school. He passed away on September 19th due to organ failure because of a seizure. So he loved these color runs. He was always jumping in the chalk, and the teacher said he always had fun with it. So they wanted to do this one in his honor. So there's a photo gallery up and a story that Mr. David Gray wrote at www.livingstonparishnews.com/living. It's a tearjerker. Very good story. That school very much loved that boy. So please check that out. Finally, Spotlight Theater has wrapped up their 2019 slate. They'll be moving into the new decade for 2020. There will be a Relive World War II in April. In the downtown Antique District. They do a little bit of the reenactment, but it's not as large scale as it was in at Sidney Hutchinson Park in Walker. It's more of like, here's what's going on in the world during World War II and some educational things. They do sort of a city reenactment of a battle, but it's a little different, but it's still just as much fun. So please keep that in mind. Also, in July of 2020, they will be performing Charlotte's Web. So look forward to that. They just did Little Women just a few weeks ago at the Old South Jamboree in Walker. One last time, around with your traffic, please remember that there are delays at Millerville and Range Avenue as folks get on the interstate. Please keep an eye out for that. That is pushing traffic onto the surface streets, so you'll have to navigate that at Forge Club Road, 190, and River Road, where delays are starting to stack up. They're also starting to stack up at Juban and 190. There are also delays on 64 heading into Central, not as bad as the others. You don't really hit those delays till you get on Greenville Springs if you end up taking a left there. Please remember, 45 degrees today. 70 degrees is your high, so it will get warm. 55 is your low overnight, and we're going to get that for a couple of days through the weekend. Expect some heavy thunderstorms on Monday, bringing in a cold front that's going to shift us more to the 50-degree highs and 30-degree lows. So it's going to get chilly for a couple of days, so prepare yourselves for that. One last time, my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you joining us this morning on the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. We are on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We are online, www.livingstonparishnews.com. We have an app. We are also once a week in print on Thursdays. Appreciate you joining us this morning. Hope you have a great Thursday. It's slated to be another beautiful day. And again, it will get nice, crisp 70 degrees. Please be on the lookout on Facebook and Twitter as I put out live updates of the Parish Council when I go on those nights. I will be out in Livingston this evening. So please check that out. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you and probably talk about the results of that Parish Council meeting in the morning.